that has to stay on, unfortunately.
True.
Is it loud? Like, can you hear it through your headphones?
It through here.
Okay, anyway,
Welcome to the Refrigerator Podcast.
Yeah, anyway, hit the intro.
Hit it!
Welcome back to the Bottom Gear Podcast. I am your host, James, and I'm not really a car guy, and I'm joined here with my co-host, Tom, who is kind of a car guy, as I don't think that's changed, Tom, has it?
No, not at all.
Well,
not since day one.
Anyway, we're on episode 3 now. I figured I'd just check in to see if you're still a car guy or not.
Right. Got to periodically check in on the boys,
Yeah, just looking out for you, know? Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I'm that kind of guy, But anyway, welcome to the Bottom Gear Podcast, episode 3. We are back at it here with another one of our, cheeky little podcasts here. And, man, I'm really off to a good start today. I don't know what the fuck to talk about. Sometimes the intro is going to be just not great because I just what do you talk about in the intro?
Nothing.
No one teaches you how to do an intro of a podcast. It's always just like, we have
kind of
these,
figure it out as you go.
Yeah, we have these topics. Let's talk about the topics, but how do we get there?
We want to be more than that,
True.
We can't just be like, hey, so sim racing, am I right?
We'll get to that later. I hate that.
So do I.
God, that was bad. If you stop listening here, I understand.
Well, that's our intro. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, and thank you for watching and listening. What is happening?
If they see us, the fourth barrier has been broken. Like, hello?
We're looking around. Anyone here?
Hope not. Yeah.
Anyway, so episode 3, Tom. We're already 3 episodes in. This thing's flying by. We're going to be sponsored soon by someone.
iRacing, please sponsor us.
Yeah. You were just telling me there's a huge company, isn't it?
It is.
Why do we need to be sponsored by a huge company? Why can't we be sponsored by Well,
it's not huge. It's a pretty niche company, Not everybody does sim racing.
That's true. It got pretty big there, though, for a while, didn't it?
I guess.
Yeah, especially over COVID. Isn't that when it got really popular?
Well, yeah, because what else are you going to do? Can't go out to the track, so you sit at your own desk and race people that way.
It's true. I guess we could start there. So, Tom, you do sim racing, right?
Of course, I do.
Now, you don't do iRacing. So to kind of clear it up for the people out there, they've probably heard both, right? And I feel like in a lot of people's brains, they're probably interchangeable, right? iRacing and sim racing. It's kind of like...
It kind of all gets, lumped up into the same category, which it is. It's all sim racing, but...
Yeah, so what exactly is iRacing? Like, what is that? Is it like its own thing? Like, is it a different game? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's its own software, and it's a paid subscription where you're buying tracks, you're buying cars, and you're essentially paying over time. And that can definitely be, not so ideal for people who just want to have a casual gaming experience like myself. I don't consider myself by any means to be a professional sim racer, so... I settle for the Sims like Assetto Corsa, Automobilista 2, and Project Cars, which are all usually one-time payments. And if you want to buy more content, you can, but it's not necessary in order to progress with your sim racing.
So it sounds like iRacing is a little pay to win.
A little bit, but it's more like pay to then be a part of a racing series that you like. Oh, okay. So say you enjoy Formula Cars, you buy the Formula Car pack and the tracks that go with it.
Gotcha. It's online, right?
It is. Yeah. Whereas the other games like Automobilista and Project Cars, they're on Steam. I'm not sure if they're available anywhere else. Usually that's it for PC, but on Xbox and PlayStation, you just go through their respective stores.
And you can still there's still online racing with those, right? Like you can still face other people?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Usually on PC, you'll have organized events, though, whereas on Xbox and PlayStation, it's a bit harder to have an organized event because the servers are split up differently, but you can still race with your friends online or just anybody who might be on.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, I remember growing up, I used to play a lot of like Gran Turismo.
Okay, yeah.
Remember that?
I wasn't a PlayStation guy, but Gran Turismo's pretty legendary.
So you had Forza, right? Because you were an Xbox kid, weren't you?
Yeah, Forza, but Forza's less of a sim and more of an arcade racer.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
sure, you can hook up a wheel and pedals and get force feedback and all that, but it's not going to be as realistic as F1 or Assetto Corsa or any of the ones I previously mentioned because Those all have laser scan tracks where you can feel every bump in the road.
Yeah.
You can feel the difference in terrain underneath you. Say if you go off the track and into the gravel, it's different than if you go into sand or grass, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, because Gran Turismo is kind of like a little bit of both. It's like, it does have that
It is arcadey,
but it has that sim
Simcade,
feel.
kind of.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I always remember, like, my dad was big into that back in the day. I used to love playing it.
Yeah.
I was never good at it, of course, but, you know.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is
It's one of
fun.
those games where you can just jump in, go right into a race and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have to do too much with setting up your car, suspension, air pressures in the tires, any of that, like you would in like an in-depth simulator. So it makes it even more accessible to the casual gamer.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, racing games, just car games in general, have just always had a place, it feels like. You know, like, even if it's kind of niche, but, like, you can even consider, like, you know, like GTA is like a car-based game. You know, like, I would
say so.
There's, like, story mode, and there's, like, a campaign, and, like, and then it turns into open world after a while. But it's, like, it's still, like, at its core, like, a lot of it is based around the vehicles and stuff you can do.
And a lot of people focus on the racing aspect and customizing their cars, and that's kind of where I fall.
Or like, the RP.
Yeah. Like, I enjoy doing missions and doing the story mode and all that, but I think I get the most enjoyment from customizing my cars because it kind of shows like who I am, but in the game. It just adds that little extra bit of personality. Instead of just going through mission to mission, not really getting anything out of it.
Yeah, I remember I never like really played GTA. It was just not. It was really, mainly because it wasn't something that I was like allowed to play because it was like pretty, you know, it's pretty
graphic.
Pretty graphic, yeah, pretty inappropriate for like a younger kid to play. And I remember growing up, I was like, yeah, never allowed to play it. But I remember one day I went over to my aunt's house and my cousins, who were older than me, they were like 18 at the time, and I was like 9.
Let me play that Grand Theft Auto.
And I said, "Can I play it?" This is GTA 3.
Oh yeah, okay.
Is that San Andreas, or is that?
Oh gosh, I didn't play it.
Either way, it was a third one. I remember that, and I remember I was like, "Okay, I really want to play this. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm gonna get the most out of it."
Jump right in.
So I jumped right in. And I remember, like, ripping people out of cars, beating the shit out of people, like, stealing cars. Like,
In-game.
Yeah, in-game. I was just getting all of my anger out in this game, it felt like. And then my dad came to pick me up.
Oh, no.
And he saw me playing this game. And I remember, my dad was also a big gamer. My dad liked to play video games. But he saw me playing a game that I wasn't allowed to play.
Right.
And he goes, "Look, I'm not going to get mad at you, but you can't play where you have to go."
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. But I didn't like that at the time. I was like, I freaked out. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, you got to let me play like 5 more minutes. And he's like, no. And I remember, so like my dad is a big guy, right? My dad was a big guy. He had a big old gut and like a old beer belly, you know? And I remember as like a 9-year-old kid getting so mad, like, 'cause he tried to like pull me away from the TV. I like turned around, like punch him in the stomach, which
try some of those GTA moves on.
Yeah, which I'm like, it didn't do anything to him,
right?
Because like, you know,
I mean, what, you're 9?
Yeah, I'm 9, and it's big old gut. Like, it's just gonna bounce off. Basically, probably hurt me more than it hurt him. Like,
probably, yeah.
And you know, and then he just got like, oh my, he was like, nope, that's it. Threw the controller across the room, like,
it's over.
Picked me up by like the back of the shirt. And he's like, we're leaving. And then I couldn't go to my aunt's house for like a year.
Jeez.
Yeah. But it was fine.
You crossed that line of Grand Theft Auto.
And I still really never played, like, even with like GTA 5 and all that. Like, I feel like I would like it. I feel like I would like the RP, like the role playing, you know, just like having that, because that theater aspect in me. I like the role play. Don't take that out of context. Don't take that out of context. Cut that out. I still never really played it. I've seen like content of it and whatnot, but yeah, I always grew up playing like more of like the racing games. But even so, like I only played those like sparingly. You know, I never even, like, for example, this is like a weird thing. Like, it's not a racing game, but it is, but not on the same level. Like, I never even really played Mario Kart.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So like, I've only ever played Mario Kart when like I'm at other people's houses. I never owned it. I had a Wii forever. Never owned it on the Wii, which is like apparently
that's
one of the
staple.
It's like one of the best.
Like the
Wii
DS and the
ever.
Wii, that's a staple Mario Kart.
I know, and I never owned it, and so I only played it very, very sparingly, and I'm so shit at it. I'm so bad. Like I'm not kidding. I probably played it less than 10 times in my life.
Really? I probably have like dozens of days in that game.
No.
I mean, across all the Mario Kart games, I was addicted.
Yeah.
I still am kind of, but
yeah. Well, we gotta keep grinding the Mario Golf. You know.
I would agree. But Mario Kart, we gotta squeeze some in.
That's true. I guess now that you know that, you're gonna make me play Mario Kart.
Especially because we now are on everybody's new favorite car podcast.
True.
So we kind of have to.
Maybe we can.
It fits the brand.
It's true. Maybe we can make a little side content for that, for like the YouTube or the Instagram of me playing Mario Kart for like truly for the first time.
Car guy versus non-car guy, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart guy versus not Mario Kart guy.
Yes, have a mini series. Keep everybody in the loop.
For sure. We love like thinking about all these new different ways of content going on beyond the podcast, because there's so many different ways we can take it, right? Because we could just sit here and talk for 150 episodes about car related content, and it can go in any direction. Like, for example, so far we've talked about
potatoes.
We've talked about everything from meat and potatoes and that wheels are circles and wheels go on cars to Mario Kart.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we can cover any of the basics with it. But I think we're definitely like in the mindset of like, because especially because something to note too, we are both college students, right? Like, we are both on like a semester.
We've got busy lives
schedule. And I think you and I are both in agreement. I'm kind of catching you off guard here because we did not talk about this before the podcast. We're both kind of in agreement, I would assume, that in that time we'd like to start doing other forms of content too.
True.
Like
kind of just expand our horizons.
Some more IRL stuff.
Explore what else we can do with this.
Yeah, like to not just limit it to a podcast, because as much as you guys are seemingly enjoying the podcast because you're listening to it right now, I know that it's not the end all be all for content. There's so many different avenues.
There are people who don't listen to podcasts to begin with, and there are people who like visual types of media, so like our TikTok or Instagram or potentially YouTube.
True. And we'll get there. But anyway, that's a little tangent I just wanted to go on real quick. But yeah, so growing up was just Gran Turismo. I never really played anything else. I used to play a lot of like mobile games, like mobile car games.
Okay.
There was one in it was called like Real Racing 3 or something like that.
God. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It was really, really
huge into mobile, but
really good game for a mobile game, and especially like graphics wise on like older smartphones.
Stepped it up.
Yeah, it was really good. But yeah, so what did you play growing up, before you got into like the like the Sims that you're doing now?
Okay, so definitely Mario Kart, and that
staple,
and that's where we are quite different. So Mario Kart. I don't know if I would say growing up, but GTA 5.
Anything before you got into like the sim racing?
So like Need for Speed, that was a big one. Like Most Wanted, Need for Speed 2015. Those kind of got me into like the arcadey racing games. And then from there, I kind of progressed into the Sims. Starting off with F1, I think 2016.
I forgot F1 made games.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say they're the best, especially for, quality sims.
Sure.
Because they fall more into the game side of things to appeal to the masses rather than...
Who were they made by? Is that EA?
It was Codemasters, and I think now it's Codemasters and EA.
Interesting.
Or just EA. Yeah. They also made the rally games Codemasters. So like Dirt Rally, Dirt Rally 2.0. Those are really fun, but they're not, your track racing games. It's you just driving through the woods and trying to figure out how you should navigate around these different turns with your co-driver. So it provides a very different experience than, say, like you and your single seater on the track in, Monaco or Circuit of the Americas. It's very different track racing from rally racing.
I did look it up. It is Codemasters exclusively for F1.
Yeah, because I know now on like 21 and 22, you get the little EA Sports intro.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a collaboration or if EA has taken over the newer games.
That's true. Maybe
I don't
they
really
did.
know the specifics.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see anything on here about EA owning it. Oh, okay. So it's developed by Codemasters. It's published
by EA.
By EA.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of a collaborative effort there.
Yeah. So fuck EA, man. Like
Pay to win every single game.
Any gamer out there, especially you sports gamers out there, like your Madden and your FIFA players,
Yep.
hate EA.
And for good reason.
Because they suck.
They do.
There's two staples of EA games: microtransactions,
Yes.
and reskinning the game. Every year, it's just a reskin. There's no changes.
Oh no, not at all.
No, and it sucks. Like, and they try to
Maybe some slight graphics improvements, but that's really
slight, but like every couple
If
years.
anything.
But every couple years, it's
Right.
like, for example, like Madden. Like I think it was like
Is
20.
FIFA EA?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, that explains it.
that's
yeah.
where they make. That's where they make all their money. Is FIFA and FIFA packs.
They just have to rename the same players and make them look a little different.
Yeah, it's literally roster updates every year.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
it.
and then they make, like, EA genuinely makes billions with a B of dollars.
And don't they try to bring in like a battle pass too to make you pay even more? So then you get like
with FIFA? Maybe not with Madden.
okay, I'm not sure because it's been a minute since I've touched
the
a Madden game.
The big thing with the EA is their packs. So like for their
Yep.
ultimate teams.
Right.
So like FIFA Ultimate Team and Madden Ultimate Team, they are so expensive, and they know that people will buy them every
Sure.
year.
That's the moneymaker.
People, it's funny because every year, especially for like Madden, because Madden is way worse than FIFA is. Because
Really?
at least FIFA, they like soccer's so diehard, like they know
And
that
more than just the US.
they'll make sales.
True.
Whereas Madden, the thing that people are so mad about is that there have been so many better Madden games in the past, like literally
Right.
over 10 years ago.
This is what I've heard from my friends who play.
I'm a huge
that
Madden
they're
guy.
currently disappointed with, the products that they're putting out now.
Yeah.
And they'd rather go back and play games that are a few years old. It's
like
kinda
over
crazy.
a decade old.
Yeah, exactly.
I would, like, for example, so my favorite Madden game of all time is Madden 2008.
Yeah.
I would play that game all the time. Like, and I played that game for like 4 years. And I would prefer to play that with that graphic style, with that game engine, versus today's next gen.
Yeah.
Because it was more fun.
See, that's how I feel about Call of Duty. Like, sure, you have the good newer versions like Modern Warfare and then Modern Warfare 2, the remake. And then before that, you had all these games where you got, soldiers with jetpacks. And it's like, that just does not appeal to me.
Yeah.
So Black Ops 2 was my fallback. And
True.
this is a game from I think 2009.
Yeah,
and I'm still enjoying it even today. I don't know. It's just like game developers in general should, I think, listen to their fan base rather than kind of just going off and trying to be super creative per se, because
But it's not even being creative. They just do it, and then once they figure out, they make one, right? And then, okay, this is our peak, and that made us the most money.
And then it
Why did we change
plummets.
it?
Right. But then I think when they have a game that just plummets and it's terrible, then that gets people's hopes up for the next year. So say the game for this year is absolute dog water. Next year, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, look at this. It's going to come out in like October and it's going to be fantastic. It could be just as bad.
And it's so bad with Madden, because Madden every year hypes up their game, because I know you're not a huge football fan.
Right.
But every year, like when they release the Madden rankings, it is a massive deal among the actual NFL players. It's a massive deal on SportsCenter, just ESPN, sports
just all
media.
the sports outlets in general.
They make it such a heightened deal, these Madden rankings. And then they make the game seem so like, oh my God, this is game changing. Like, this is going to be so new, so epic. Like, and it just sucks. It's exactly the same game, but just a little bit different, a different menu and a reskin.
Right.
Like, Anyway, Black Ops 2 came out in 2012, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Yes, 2012.
2012. But
and I'd still rather play that over a few of the games that came out before, say, Modern Warfare 2 on the new gen consoles.
You know what's funny? Looking at like the little bit about BO2 here is that it actually was also released on the Wii U.
Yeah, it was. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I never played the Wii U.
Me neither. I had a Wii. Wii
So
was
did
where
I.
it's at. The Wii is one of the greatest game consoles of all time.
I would agree. I like the motion controls, especially for Wii Sports. That was fantastic.
It's a top 5
yeah.
console of all time. It was so revolutionary.
It was. Like, Wii Fit had the balance board so you could do like snowboarding or skiing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so cool. I miss it.
VR wouldn't exist without the Wii.
You know,
Hot
I
take.
think you're right.
I think VR is like, or I think the Wii set up VR for the future.
Yeah,
And
definitely some aspects, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a little tangent about video games, you know, because we're kind of nerds about video games.
We're a bit salty about the current state of video games, I
They
guess.
suck. There's no new
They
games. There's no new games, dude.
That's how I feel. On Xbox, I'm just waiting for something good to come out that has multiplayer compatibility because I like playing games with my friends.
Yes.
And I can't always just sit down and play a single player game. Like, sure, the story's gripping in a lot of games, but I can't just sit there for hours and hours and not talk to anybody.
The only game that I've enjoyed, like single player game that I've enjoyed playing, is Spider-Man for the PS4.
Okay. Yeah.
It is one of the best games of all time. It, like, I'll have to have you play it sometime.
Yeah, I have not played it. I haven't touched it.
Oh, it's so good. But anyway, you know, video game tangent aside, we do have some car related content for you today. But you know, we got a little bit sidetracked there talking about video games because there's
it all tied in.
It all does, yeah. We started talking about sim racing and then it goes into video games. It makes sense,
right?
This is you know, as you learned last week with the Meat and Potatoes podcast, this is not an exact science by any means.
What's on your plate?
Stop. We're not making that a slogan. Maybe when we make merch someday, that'll be for like the people who really are the OGs.
That'll be like the Tom t-shirt.
Yeah, like what's on your plate. But anyway, so we want to get into a list. I know like we've kind of like our content right now is just kind of like, let's make a list and then we'll talk about this list.
It's a proven formula. Trust us.
It is. It is. I mean, y'all are listening, so deal with it.
If you have devices nearby where you can look these up, fantastic.
Yes, I would actually recommend. I was thinking about this
visual
before.
aids definitely help.
Yeah.
And right now on the podcast where we can't provide you with visual aids, we're going to have to ask you guys to look these up.
You know how we can flip that to make it seem like we're not just like lazy and don't want to make a video podcast?
This is a collaborative effort.
It is, you know, we're collaborating.
That's what I just said.
I couldn't think of the word.
We're trying to engage with our audience on a
Yes.
deeper level.
Yes.
So like, let's break that fourth wall and let's have a chat.
So anyway, if you listen to this on your phone, take your phone out of your pocket. It's okay. Keep your AirPods in.
If you're driving, save it for later.
If you're driving,
pause it now.
If you're driving, pull over and follow along. But anyway, so we're going to go through some of the weirdest cars ever made. So these are cars that either just look weird, they had really no significance to the car world whatsoever.
Or they're just totally different from anything else you'd see on the road.
Or they just weren't in production for very long.
That too.
Because they were just, what the hell was this car? And some of them, dude, are just
outrageous.
Like looking at them, again, this is why we really encourage you to follow along visually here, because some of them are just
cartoon worthy.
Yeah, there's really no other way to say it. We're going to start off strong with a BMW Isetta. So, Tom, you...
As a fan of the Cars movie,
yes,
I see, you know, Guido on screen, and then I found out later on in life that the Isetta actually existed, and I was just ecstatic.
It is a real car. This is a car that you can probably fit 4 of in a normal parking spot.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, maybe.
Being generous there.
They are small. So this is it's a 1-seater, and the front of the car opens. So
it's like a barn door on the front of the car.
Yes.
Like you don't get in on the side. You just
no.
You open up your car. You don't open the door. You open the car and you sit down.
Right. And it's It is kind of cool looking. I'm not even going to lie.
You know what's weird about it, is that the steering wheel is attached to the door.
Yeah, so when it opens...
The wheel is moved out of your way.
Okay, so then here's my question, right? Valid question.
Okay.
What is the steering wheel connected to?
I've seen the inside of an Isetta, and this is years and years and years ago, but I didn't look into like the technical aspects of it, so I can't really speak to it. But I think it's just like I guess it's some kind of linkage that is able to bend at whatever angle.
Oh, see this. So I'm looking at a picture of it now with it open, and it's actually not connected to the door.
Oh, is it not?
So it's like
my mistake.
It goes straight down like the shaft, the turning shaft.
Right.
I don't. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. The steering column.
Thank you. That goes down to like almost like the turning mechanism for the axle.
Okay, yeah.
Like, and that's just at your feet.
Oh, okay. I'm
So you kind of straddle it.
thinking about maybe. I don't know what I'm thinking of, but okay, yeah. My mistake.
But so it looks like
so cramped.
You basically just straddle the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is like flat. So it's not like in a car where it's like perpendicular or parallel to you. It's like
it's got to be flat.
It's like a
because
plate.
Your knees are in your chest at that point.
Yeah.
You know? So it's got to be out of the way.
Yeah, very wild car, very cool, unique car. It only has 3 wheels. It does not have 4.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
The 2 in the back are just very close together.
That close?
Yeah, look up the rear of the BMW Isetta.
Also, maybe is this why you don't like BMWs, because the Isetta exists?
I think the Isetta is really iconic. It's cool. Would I ever drive one? Absolutely not. It's a death trap.
The Fiat Multipla, which is also just a specimen of a car. This
I guess
is
that's the word for it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I mean, is it really even a car? It's just.
Well, no, it's a car.
It is. I don't like being able to call it a car because it's a monstrosity.
It is.
Like,
it is that.
Fiat decided to commit war crimes, okay? When they made this. It's just. It's disgusting.
This is one that if you haven't been following along with this list already, this is one that we would recommend you need to look up. This might be a dream car for you once you see it, because I know it is for me. I was telling Tom,
really?
It is, because I was telling you before the podcast that the Multipla is a car that would just be so incredibly stupid to drive around.
Well, right.
That I would love to drive it around.
I mean, yeah, you'd be breaking all the necks. Like, you'd have everybody staring at this car because it looks so out of this world ugly.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes it special, is how odd it looks.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing it's got going for it.
This is like a weird like way of describing this car. So
okay.
So think do you know Peyton Manning?
His big ass forehead?
Yeah.
It grows by the year?
That's like the Multipla.
Yeah, the windshield of the Multipla is just so tall.
And it's so far like back, but it's like it's not like a normal car. If it was like just if it didn't have the bump, it would just be like a weird looking
like a
crossover.
Van yeah.
But it has like another level.
Right, because of the hood and the bumper and then it's got the windshield. It just doesn't look right.
And it has 2 extra headlights.
I know, above the front bumper, above the hood.
Because it has 2 headlights that are like in the normal position. It has 2 fog lights.
Right, and then you work your way up the car to under or next to the windshield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
And I will say, the one thing that does look cool about the car, huge windows on the sides.
I mean, yeah,
like
it's got great visibility, limited blind spots, which is fantastic.
It is great.
This is the driver's car. You hear me? This is the driver's car. You're not getting into any accidents with this thing. You see everybody coming from miles away.
This is true. And it's funny because they have a picture here of like, clearly this was like the promotional photo for it. Because it's like a family in there and they look so happy. The dad driving in is like...
This is a false depiction then. I mean, I don't know any Multipla owners, but I think if I did, I'm not sure that they'd be so happy to drive it.
Yeah. Dude, you're not going to believe this by any means. I want you to take a guess. So I'll tell you this.
What is it? The price?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was produced starting in 1998. I want you to tell me the last year it was produced.
17.
No, not that old.
Okay. So prior to that.
Yes.
I'll say you said started in 98?
Yeah.
2004.
2010.
Really?
This car
How
was
did it survive that long? Who were they selling this to?
This car was produced for 12 years. It said that it was spacious and excellent to drive.
I don't know how much of that I'm willing to believe.
The spacious...
Fun to drive? I mean...
Have you ever driven one?
I think it would be interesting to drive.
Fiats are a nice ride.
I beg to differ.
They're okay.
They're all right.
They're worse.
All right.
There are worse cars to drive.
Very true. The Isetta being one of them.
That's the standard.
Yikes. When you compare the Fiats, yes. The Isetta has to be your comparison. Mm-hmm. It's the benchmark.
So we have our next one here is almost you could consider like a sister car, just based off of looks to the Multipla. This is the Nissan S Cargo. So this one, it looks like a mail truck from the future. But
it looks like a snail from the side.
Correct. I think they took the term snail mail to a whole new level.
That too.
Oh,
Escargot.
No,
yeah.
Is that actually what?
I think
no,
so,
it's
yes,
not.
It's got to be.
No.
It's got to be because it looks like a snail. Why else would they name it the Escargot?
No.
Isn't that clever?
No way. It doesn't say anything about it.
But it's got to be. Look at it. It would only make sense.
Please look this up. If you have not looked this car up.
I don't think they would have any other reason to call the car the Escargot than its shape.
That's so clever.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that. And I've looked at this car like 3 times. Granted, that's not a lot. But like... So it is... it's based...
I wonder if the horn is like, Gary! Meow.
All right, go home.
I had to.
Go home.
All right.
So it has a 1.5 E15 inline-4 engine powered by the 3-speed automatic.
Oh, okay. I heard 3-speed automatic.
Correct.
The 3-speed is enough to skeeve me out because it's not a 3 on the tree muscle car from way back when.
This is true. I was also thinking 3 on the tree.
And it's an automatic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to any of our listeners who were also skeeved out by the 3-speed automatic feature.
Yeah. 3 on the tree, on the other hand, great.
Incredible.
Very fun.
Classy. We're going through our adjectives today, if you couldn't tell.
Yes. Stupendous.
Brilliant. Pencils.
Stop.
But yeah, that's the Escargot.
It ran for 3 years. 8,000 units produced. See, but the thing is,
that's not a ton.
It was
made for a purpose.
It was probably used for like mail carriers or something similar to that. You know what I mean? Like
I don't really see any other use for it aside from cargo.
Yeah.
Hence the name. Also snail.
True. I've never thought of that. That's like so funny.
Mail and carriers, you know.
True. So another one that this was not like weird on the same level that the Escargot is. Now that I say it, I can't unthink of that. That's awesome. Thank you for that, Tom. The 2017 Carlman King. So we talked about this one. This was the armored SUV.
Oh, right.
I want to preface with this, just for the people listening. Tom does not have the photos in front of him. I have the photos in front of me. So Tom.
So I'm in your boat, listeners.
Tom is either knowing all these from memory or he relies on me to describe them to him.
Right.
So the Carlman King was like the armored SUV that's like very geometric in shape on the sides.
Incredibly expensive.
It is $2.2 million.
There it is.
It's just pocket change for us.
Oh, sure.
Us working class. So it actually, there are so many overlapping shapes it can cause diplopia. Diplopia.
What, is that when you just can't tell exactly what it looks like?
I don't know. Look that up. Look up what diplopia means. Diplopia?
Let's look this up.
It's DIPLOPIA. diplopia.
Oops.
Welcome to the...
Seeing two images of an object, also known as double vision.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it is weird looking. Like I could see how people could get confused.
I could get cross-eyed looking at that.
Yeah, no,
there's
it's all
so
over
many
the place.
angles. It's all like geometric.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
So it is the most expensive SUV globally ever.
I've got to say the interior
has a coffee maker.
It's beautiful.
Has a coffee maker on the inside, built in. Wow, that is really nice.
That's a showstopper. That's spectacular.
So it is an armored SUV. So this is definitely something that, like,
in case you're driving through war-torn nation,
or just if you're really famous,
that too.
You know,
and you have 2.2 mil to spend.
I don't think you're taking
3.8 mil, I guess.
Oh wow!
With some options added.
I would take the options. If you have 2.2, you can afford 3.8.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's not like you have 2.5 in the bank and you're like, yeah, I'll buy a $2.2 million car.
No, you're just throwing money at this thing.
But anyway, it has a V10 in it, 6.8 liter V10, producing 398 horsepower. Its top speed, though.
Wait, what? You said 398 horsepower?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lot for a V10.
No, its top speed is 87 miles per hour.
Well, I guess when you factor in how heavy it is.
How heavy it is, yeah.
That's a beast. That's a tank, literally.
No, because it is. I mean, because remember, a lot of the weight comes from it being an armored car.
Right.
So it offers a coffee machine on the inside. You can make your coffee. It is optional bulletproofing. So you can get it with or without the armor. Why would you not get it with the armor? It already looks like an armored car.
It's probably just as horrendous to drive because it's so heavy either way.
It does have a flat screen TV on the inside.
Perfect.
A laptop.
What if I want to buy my own laptop?
Well, just in case you don't have one already, because you're spending all your money on the SUV. A fridge.
Might as well live there.
Among other desirable features. It doesn't say what they are, but
I guess they're desirable, you know.
For those that are paying that kind of money, they must be desirable features.
Sure.
Yeah.
If it's on the brochure, put it in the car for me. Thank you.
So, we're going to pivot to something completely different in speed here, literally and figuratively. We're going from the Carlman King to the Chevy El Camino.
Beautiful. I love it.
It is a beautiful car. It is.
You know, everybody, well, I wouldn't say everybody, but so many people give it hate just because it doesn't really fall into the category of car or truck. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like that. It's a crossover. Like, you can drive it like it's a car and then utilize its bed like it's a truck. So best of both worlds.
And it has some towing capacity to it.
Yeah, sure.
It's actually a pretty cool car. Like, I like it a lot. Because we were talking about it earlier, how it has like the front end of like an old Camaro.
Right.
Like the SS, you know.
And so it has that muscle car appearance, even if it doesn't necessarily perform like a muscle car.
Yeah, like if you looked at it just from the front angle, you would just think it's like a muscle car, like a Chevy muscle car from the era. You wouldn't think anything of it. You look at the side profile, and you're like, there's a bed. What the
hell is that?
There's a bed on it. It offered 300 horsepower. It was a beast, like for a truck all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And, you know, what's kind of funny is you think about like where this kind of style of car is now, like the Santa Cruz.
I mean, the Santa Cruz is still trying to be a truck more than it is a car.
Right, but like, so yeah.
And the Honda Ridgeline too, they both kind of fall into that weird like SUV crossover truck.
It's an SUV truck. This is a car truck. Like, this is quite literally I think
the last car truck, at least in the US, that we had was the Subaru Baja. Because we didn't get the Holden Ute that the Australians had.
True, you love the Ute.
I do. It's epic. It's literally an El Camino, but we just didn't get them in the US.
True.
But GM Australia said, hey, you guys get all the cool stuff. Screw America.
True.
But, man, how I wish we had Utes here. Like a V8 rear-wheel drive pickup truck car. That's sick.
It is kind of cool. I would love to have an El Camino, though.
Yeah. I mean, they do look really cool, and I think they're pretty cheap.
Yeah. Just
even in decent shape.
Any muscle car, and it's not a muscle car. I know that. I know. Trust me. but any car like that from that era is hard to find.
They can be.
And in good shape. Like, there's a lot of them, like...
just about all of them will need some restoration.
Sure.
Unless they were garage kept and, passed down through the generations. Right.
Another one from, like, that kind of era, a little bit older. This is from the 70s. An AMC Gremlin.
Grammys.
Mm-hmm. Very...
Definitely different.
Yeah. I mean, but it's also...
I wouldn't say a great-looking car, but...
It's not the worst car.
True.
It looks like... It kind of looks like a better Fiat 500.
All the Italian purists are going to be throwing hands.
I don't give a shit.
Over this. I mean, neither do I.
Fiat 500s are like weird looking, dumbass little cars.
It's a blob.
My buddy used to drive one. You used to drive a 500X.
Only for a few months. Yeah.
Yeah. See, like that's more respectable because it was
just as bad.
Yeah, I know.
It was just as bad.
But like, there's the 500s are.
But that's like the 500, at least the Abarth. The Abarth, the Performance Edition, that's like a go-kart for the road. It's a lot of fun. They don't even have mufflers from the factory, so they sound really cool.
Anyway, the Gremlin here. An advertisement for the Gremlin said, if you can afford a car, you can afford 2 Gremlins.
So that's saying you're getting half a car for the price of one.
But the question remains, why would you even want to buy one of them?
Right.
So it says, in a hurried attempt to get ahead of the competitors, the Gremlin was essentially an AMC Hornet with the back chopped off.
Yep.
Into a hatch.
It was a tiny hatchback. Pretty sure it was a 2-door hatch.
Yeah, it was.
Ridiculous.
The result is a oddly proportioned, poorly named subcompact car that's left a lasting impression because we're sitting here talking about it 53 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are.
Fittingly, actually, it was introduced on April 1st, which makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. It's actually quite fitting for that car.
It's a 2-passenger. It was offered in 2-passenger and 4-passenger versions. Instead of a trunk or even a hatch, the cargo space is accessed by lifting the rear window in the 2-door version. The 4-door version has a fixed rear window, though it's hard to believe that there was any cargo space left for adding 2 additional seats.
Yeah, right? Because the seats are just shoved into the back. And whatever space you have left is your cargo space.
It did sell, though. People liked them.
Oh, I bet.
Reportedly, both Bill Clinton and George W. Bush owned one at some point.
I don't know how to feel about that.
But it was almost universally mocked and mechanically reveled.
Yeah. I mean, the only Gremlin I've seen, I think, was on Roadkill, which is one of those Motor Trend shows with David Freiberger, and they have a Gremmy, and they've modded everything about it. So that's what I love about it, is like they've chopped it, they've done everything to it,
right,
just to make it, I guess, cool. But that's all subjective. You might think otherwise, but
true. I, on the other hand, kind of like the look of them as they are. I kind of just like how they look.
Right,
they're kind of a weird looking little cheap, apparently very cheap car. Maybe that's what I should look into, because I was looking into a new car.
Yeah, get a Gremlin.
I kind of put that on pause because I'm broke. Maybe I should look into getting a Gremlin.
You could.
I could. I wanted a hatch.
There you go.
There it is. Actually, I might look into this car though. It's one of your favorite cars of all time.
Oh no,
of all time.
I'm scared.
The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Yes, this is my favorite vehicle of all time.
Have you ever seen it in person?
No, but dude, this is the Rizmobile.
It is.
It really is.
It is. You can't not pull the ladies in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Exactly. And no matter where you drive, everybody will look at this thing.
Yeah.
They will want to talk to you if you're driving it. There's so many questions to be asked.
And so many fantastic questions to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, why are you driving a hot dog?
Because why not?
There it is. Meat and potatoes.
Yeah. I mean, come on. So spotting the hot dog car on the road is sure to produce a lot of excitement, especially if you have anyone under the age of 12 in the car, or Tom, or the ladies. The first Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was created in 1936. 1936
1936
by Carl Mayer. as an advertising ploy. There are now 6 Wienermobiles on the road.
I didn't know there were that many. I thought it was just one.
No, there's 6 of them.
That was very like elusive and hard to spot.
There's a whole fleet.
That's crazy.
Although,
how do we find a decommissioned one for Bottom Gear Podcast?
Here's the thing. Can we play the sad music? Oh. Through the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile got pulled in 2020 due to the pandemic. Rest in peace.
Quite sad.
So, if it goes back onto the road,
hopefully it will.
Yes,
we'll see.
What would it be like to drive a 27-foot long hot dog?
I feel like there's so many blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got to have some crazy like CDL license just to drive this thing. I bet
probably
like a bus license or whatever.
Each Wienermobile begins life as an Isuzu NPR medium duty commercial truck.
Okay, so yeah. It is a commercial truck.
With a Chevy L96 6-liter V8.
Got a V8.
Inside are 6 plush ketchup and mustard colored seats. Sadly, it's not actually stocked with hot dogs.
No.
But you may be able to snag a plush wiener or a coveted wiener whistle. Best of all, anyone can request.
It gets better than the wiener whistle?
Oh, Tom.
But wait, there's more.
Anyone can request a visit from the Wienermobile at Oscar Mayer's website.
I think we have something coming up for the Bottom Gear Podcast.
If you want the Bottom Gear Podcast to get a visit from the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, let us know in the comments on this video.
Don't forget to put on your notifications for your podcast.
Yes. Let us know on Instagram. DM us. Send us a
Blow
comment
us
or
up
whatever.
on TikTok. And
whatever
tag
it may
Oscar
be.
Mayer Wienermobile.
Like, we can make it happen. That's awesome. It's such a freaking sick looking car.
I think that's a simple enough thing that we can aspire to.
Yeah.
Is trying to get a visit from the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Just a visit.
I think it's possible.
Just a visit. Not like to buy one, not to do anything crazy. We're just visiting.
Yeah, and we can get a little tour, put it on our socials. That'd be pretty cool.
True. Well, it's also, we were talking about the peanut car.
Yes, the Planters peanut car. I don't know how many of those are in existence, but it is also quite legendary.
Probably.
Unless you're a peanut allergy person, in which case, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a peanut allergy, I would not recommend.
You should run.
Yeah. Could you imagine the fear of let's say a little kid, right? They don't understand much. And you're just driving, and then they have a peanut allergy, and they just see a
ginormous peanut rolling toward them. It's over. That's too easy.
So it's called the Nutmobile.
The impending doom for. Oh no, we have the Wienermobile and the Nutmobile.
Yes. So the Nutmobile. You can request it too.
We need both to show up on the same day.
Time? Oh my god. That's so sick. I went to the Planters website just to see
Can you still request it?
There's a button for it.
No.
Yeah, dude.
I think we have to do it.
Okay.
If we can get the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile and the Planters Nutmobile
legendary
on the same day.
Oh my god, imagine we record a podcast on one.
That would be so good.
That'd be awesome. So there's 3 peanut cars. There's 3 Nutmobiles on the road right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if they would let us rent one out for like an hour and a half just so we can record and get some content.
Yeah. I'm down.
Dude, that'd be great.
We'll definitely look at this after the podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think that'll be the move. Some other weird cars, though, kind of continuing on our journey here. We have the 1921 Layat Helica. This is... So I had Tom look this up before the show, and he was like, this sounds familiar. And as he's typing it, he goes, oh, yeah, this one. And it's basically...
Is this the propeller car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically this chamber you sit in with a wheel.
Right. And it looks like an old aircraft from back in the day.
Yeah.
Except they've stripped off the wings and put on 4 wheels instead of your 3 that you'd have on a prop plane.
Yep. And then on the front, there's a propeller in a cage. Just not a propeller, just straight.
Right.
They put the cage on it.
So you don't get, a bird striking minced meat in your face. as you're driving down the local roads.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. So a little bit more about the Helica. This is, now remember, I want to preface, I'm reading a website here. These are not my words. In the early years of car design, ideas flew fast and furious.
Not like the movies.
Pun intended. Frenchman and biplane designer Marcel Layat believed that cars were too heavy and not aerodynamic. He also thought that power-driven wheels with a transmission, rear axle, and clutch were unnecessary and added weight. His solution? A propeller-driven, wingless automobile. The Helica was an 18-horsepower, 1,000cc Harley-Davidson V-twin two-cylinder engine.
No way.
And a lightweight, streamlined plywood body.
Interesting.
That weighs 550 pounds.
Oh, okay, very lightweight.
The wheels are custom aluminum discs with integrated brakes that further reduce drag. In 1927, one Helica recorded a top speed of 106 miles per hour.
That's got to be terrifying. Just looking at this car, I don't know. It just looks like you can't even see out the front properly.
Because of the propeller.
Right. Well, yep. I guess at high speeds it kind of just blurs out.
And also the window is not very big.
No, it's not. It's like peeking through a little hole in a tank
slit
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was, due to a lack of funding, there was only 30 built, and only 23 of them are sold. Ultimately, a vehicle with what amounts to a massive blender on the front didn't take off, so to speak, and is widely considered to be unsafe.
Careful at crosswalks, please.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, that'd be terrible. Could you imagine you just hear and you're like, what the hell is that? What the hell is even that?
Yeah, I can't imagine seeing something that looks so much like a plane rolling down the street. Yeah. Let alone, 100 miles an hour plus.
Here's the thing, too. Cars are loud. Do you know how fucking loud that would be?
Incredibly loud. I mean, it's a propeller. If you've ever heard a propeller plane up in the sky.
Yeah, in the sky.
Yeah.
Above you.
Yeah.
Hundreds of feet above you. Not one coming down Main Street. Like, could you imagine it
hit a pothole in that and then you take off?
Imagine that like idling at like a stop sign. So our last one on the list here is not really necessarily that weird, but I love my old caddies.
I do know this.
And this one is just lovely. So this one is a 1973 Cadillac Fleetwood 75. Okay. So most people nowadays, especially if you have a family or you just have a lot of passengers, you like extra seats, right? You like that third row, right? You like the ability to fit that,
your extra people,
the
or extra
7 or 8 seater, right? Now the thing with the Fleetwood was that the Fleetwood was a 3, not even a 3-row. I don't even know how many rows it was per se, but needless to say, it's a 9-passenger,
which is incredible.
Sedan.
9 passengers,
and it's not a limo, might we add?
No, this is just a boat. It's long.
It is a 21-foot long car.
Good luck parking.
I could parallel park it.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, give me a spot, like that lady today we saw.
Bumper to bumper.
I'm fitting in that spot. But it was not sold as a limousine. It was marketed to regular buyers as a passenger sedan. It was 21 feet long. It is the longest regular production car ever, excluding limos.
Yeah.
It's powered by a 7.7 liter V8.
Okay.
The behemoth literally takes 11.9 seconds to hit 60.
Ages.
That's 12 seconds.
Grow beard in that time.
That's so long.
Shave it and grow a new one.
Yeah.
They're 60.
Could you imagine trying to take that onto an on-ramp nowadays?
Oh, yeah. And if you're going uphill, even longer.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'll pass. But
drive that in the snow.
Yeah.
You are a torpedo at that point. You're cruising. You're along for the ride. You, as the driver, are a passenger at that point.
Yeah,
you're done.
You're not in control there. And it said that it reportedly offered a smooth ride, which makes sense. Caddies like that.
The weight and the length, the wheelbase,
Yeah.
it's got to be smooth. It's like a cruise ship.
You don't feel anything.
Right.
The interior was spacious.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I would too. For 9 passengers.
Yeah, imagine a cramped car that's 21 feet long. How?
And it was very luxurious for the time. It actually, what it shows here is it looks like it was like a presidential, like a motorcade car.
That would make sense. Yeah.
I mean, Cadillacs are consistently known to be like
prestigious
the old,
cars,
like motorcade cars. You know? I mean, even still today, they use like the Cadillac like SUVs.
Well, it's like a high-end American icon.
True.
Cadillac. So
yeah, but it's like this picture is in front of the White House with like the 2 American flags in the front.
Picturesque. Very just.
It reminds me of just like those old like presidential movies. Very similar to the Seville.
You're just missing the eagle flying overhead.
Yeah. I will say I know I said that was our last one, but I do want to throw one more in here.
One more.
So, regardless of religious views or anything like that, Tom and I both attend a Jesuit school, and because of that, we I don't know.
I know where this is going.
So we have the Pope. Okay. Now I am not Catholic. I don't know about you, but I'm not Catholic. But I will say I do love the Pope Mobile.
The Pope has, I think, one of the more interesting cars out there.
So if you're not familiar with the Pope Mobile, so think of a car, and then in the trunk, it opens to the top, and he's in like this...
To a vertically oriented fish tank, essentially, where he stands with a handrail.
In bulletproof glass.
Yeah. Man is a museum piece.
Yep.
On wheels. Like, that is what he is, and he waves to people.
And he does. And
It's got to be a smooth ride if he's able to stand up.
Well, I don't imagine they're going very fast.
No, that's true. They're probably cruising around like 5 miles an hour.
In like a parade. You know
Kilometers per hour.
Like a motorcade.
Right.
Kind of thing. He's not going around like on the throughway.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine you look over
Pope
like,
Francis is flying down the road.
You're driving down the throughway, you look over and you're like,
what the hell?
That's a nice looking car. What the fuck? That's the Pope. That's the Pope. Hello.
Mom, get the camera.
Hello. Hi. He's just waving. There's a little Pope wave.
Yeah.
You know.
Slight deviation from the Queen wave.
It is a little different. It's more of just like a
wrist.
This is a shake.
Yeah.
He's just kind of shaking his whole hand. It's not like the cup Queen wave. It's just like you have your hand out and it's just kind of like, you know.
The awkward laugh, shake his hand.
The Pope Mobile is cool though. But either way, so that was our list of some weird cars. We did not really get to everything that we wanted to talk about today because we are at an hour, Tom.
But you know what? That's all right.
Yeah.
I think we had a good time talking about these, sim racing and these bizarre cars. So
yeah. So
there you have it.
So let's look at some takeaways from today's episode. I need to play Mario Kart.
You do. And we will soon enough.
EA sucks.
EA is the bane of mine and many others' existence, especially within gaming.
I'm going to buy a Fiat Multipla.
Double it, pass it to the next person.
And the Pope Mobile is the greatest vehicle ever made.
I would disagree. I still think it's the Wienermobile. Oscar Mayer.
You've convinced me.
If they can somehow blend the Pope Mobile and the Wienermobile, like put his little
on the back
glass enclosure on the top of the Wienermobile,
that's fire.
That would seal the deal for me.
Yeah.
That's the compromise I'm willing to make.
All right. No, I think you convinced me, though. I mean, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is by far the greatest vehicle ever made.
Yeah. I mean...
So I guess the last takeaway is that we're going to try to get the Wienermobile and the Nutmobile here.
Hopefully on the same day, but if not, hopefully just here in general.
And if it costs money, which it probably does.
It might. It might not.
Why would they just do it for free?
For the publicity. Accessibility.
So if it costs money and you want to see this happen, My Venmo is
The links for Patreon.
yes. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for us for episode 3 of the Bottom Gear podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tom, I'll let you do your thing here. You've been good today. You didn't actually
I didn't
plug
make
the
too many
socials.
jokes. And
You didn't?
by the way, follow our Instagram and TikTok
There it
at
is.
Bottom Gear Pod.
Yep.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in. We will see you all next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.